Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're already in the mix between Team Endpoint versus Bot123. In fact, Bot123 gets the opening kill onto Sus, and Flashy seems to be in a little bit of trouble. That's me, but this game is going to be interesting. Matt Strafe does get one more. In fact, takes down Dax, and J Money even gets down Tim. This is going to be an exciting game already off the bat. Fancy does manage to get down Max, but Flashy gets down Supreme, just leaving Fancy in a 1 versus 4 in this game of Clash of the Titans, Clash of the Rivals. Call it what you want, ladies and gentlemen. It's Team Endpoint versus Team Endpoint at this point. Saint, J Money, Icons, all ex-Team Endpoint players, and we've got Fancy Sus on Supreme. Playing for Endpoint at Gallantry. And J Money going out on top on Fancy. 4 players surviving for Bot123. It's gonna be so confusing for people at home and for me. Tell me which one's which. Just remember the one which has 3 Endpoint logos is Endpoint. But after the first round, I don't really get too greedy since it started so fast, since our producer forgot to start. They did do the veto, but the maps decided was Open Coast, so I don't know what the third map was, I do not remember, but the maps will be the first, and this could go to a best of 3 in my opinion. And Dacus gets the opening kill first. Time Endpoint has got the opening. Let's see if they can keep the opening up, and let's see if they can make the defense spread a little bit more wider. Flashing, closing their defense slightly more, taking down Sus. Making it back to 4 versus 4. J Money, he needs to get at least 1 frag in this position. He's unable to, but Max does take down Supreme. Making a 4 versus 3 advantage change. And Max doing some more, taking down Fancy. He's looking for more, takes down Tim. That's a 3k for him. He's looking for the 4k, and he gets the 4k, taking down Dacus. Great play from Max Strafe. Really nice guy. Met him at Gallantry. Really nice. Spoke to him a little bit at the airport on the way back. Shout out to Max Strafe. I think we took a selfie. I don't know where that selfie went. Let's see if Max can keep that momentum up. He does have a nade and staying with the Gua and Carbine. Icons, similar situation. Flashy just got Gua instead of no Carbine. Saint is the only one which has upgraded weaponry, which is an MP44. On the other side, you just see grease guns. There's a grease gun galore, and it looks like they are rushing towards the A site. Dacus looking to get in charge, but it's actually Flashy. Opens things up, gets a double with the nade. Icons follows on up. Flashy's looking for more. Sus a little bit confused. Knife coming in. Flashy, massive 4k from him. Back-to-back 4ks from 2 different players. This is going to be an exciting game. I agree with VZ. This game is going to be lit. The economy pretty stable at the moment for Bot123. On the other side, they're finally buying some weapons. Sus saving a little bit, getting himself just a carbine, nothing else, no utility either. Some of them are grinds on Fancy, Tim, and Dacus. Supreme going in with that close range weaponry with Thompson. And that what he wants to do, get pretty close, but let's see what they can do. J Money in the window position. This is a very powerful position. A pretty good aim. That's actually Sus who gets the opening jaw, and Max is going on top. Max running under of a game, and actually J Money in that good position I was talking about, getting naded out by Supreme, but Supreme does fall to the hands of Saint with that MP44 in hand, and Maxim is going to find a name kill, and Dacus just leaving Tim and Fancy. Tim does start opening things up on the B side, but when he expects Max there, no he doesn't. Just leaving Fancy in a 1 versus 3. The game's already exciting, fast pace, just the way I like it, and Fancy's getting ahead of Icons, making it 1 versus 2. Both players split. If he can get these 1 versus 1 kills and wins them, it's going to give him an advantage, leaving it into a 1 versus 1 now, just Flashy left. He had a 3k in the praise while Flashy. He needs to get 1 kill just this time. When do you expect Flashy to come up heaven, Fancy? It doesn't look like he's expecting it to push from mid street. Going on. Should go towards A if he sprints. And I think that's the idea. He's going for 20 seconds left. Not much time left to go to A. He can't aim through all this way here. He has to start sprinting. 10 seconds left. Not much time left. Does manage to get the bomb plant just in time though. And that's kind of the slight advantage for Endpoint. Tox killing for his time instead of Flashy's, and Flashy played so well last week's qualifier playing for Team No Namers. Let's see if he can play pretty well this time. Fancy knows his position, but Flashy doesn't know Fancy's, but he's predicting it, but doesn't see him. Fancy goes on top, 1-3. Gun round going in favor to Team Endpoint. Let's see if they can keep this up. Let's see how he does going into this next round. Sus picking up the scope. It's interesting that Sus goes with the scope. I know he's gone with the scope several times, but not really for the main team. On the other side, you see a bunch of goers. The economy slightly fluctuated into Team Endpoint's favor, but if Team Endpoint insists, it goes back the other way. However, Daggers does have some tokens left in the bank. Same with Fancy. Let's see what we can do here. Does seem like a big plate is coming up for Team Endpoint, and Max Strafe's nade could deal some damage if they're not too careful. In fact, it does. It takes out Daggers, making it a 5 vs 4 advantage for Bot123. And more advantage thanks to J Money getting Supreme down 5 vs 3 now, and Team Endpoint looking a little bit lackluster now. 2 people left on site, which is Fancy and Tim, and Sus getting a little bit damaged, and he's got the scope in hand. He needs to try and get these openings. Max tags up as well. He's going to retreat. Doesn't like that jaw. And Saint, he goes on top on Fancy, just leaving Tim stuck in dark. Sus nowhere in sight to help him, but Sus does manage to take out J Money, but just leaving him against 4 players, not liking his odds. He wants really to save this scope for 5 seconds, and he knows his position, and Icon's not letting him keep it. He wants that for himself. He's like, thank you very much. Get out of here. 4-1 in favor to Bot123. Economy back and rolling, but yeah, like it goes back and forth. If you use one round, it can literally fluctuate your economy so badly. Even if you have a string of rounds holding you back, because one person he has to spend pretty much all of his economy to get weapons, and it's very hard to keep that economy up. Let's see what happens here. Max falls to the hands of Sus. Like he was going to win that job, but Sus managed to come back, giving his team an advantage instead of the other way around. Flashy looking to rebuttal, but Sus is going on fire right now. Gets himself a second, giving 3 players, giving his team an advantage on towards the B side. But J Money with the car managed to get one. Icons with their name, making it back to a 3 vs 3. The advantage that Sus gave them not working anymore, especially since J Money gets down Fancy. But Dackers with a double kill himself, leaving it into a 1 vs 2, all in the hands of Icons. Icons is pretty close to Dackers, and he will spot him out. Gets the frag. He's got himself a scope as well. Gonna face down Sus. He's been getting himself the first 2 kills, first 2 entries. Didn't expect this to go the way it did. 1 vs 1 from a 3 vs 5, but now Sus managed to clutch it out. Himself a 3k. Great play there from Sus, but that was too close for Team Endpoint. 2-4. Economy hasn't exactly been saved for Team Endpoint, but they will be able to get some carbines out, some Thompsons as well. Utility on pretty much all the players minus Fancy on the other side. It's looking a little bit worse for wear. Some Goers, MP44 on Saint, but only 2 smokes. Those nades are pretty important. Let's see how we can do here. J Money in that window position, such a strong position, I would say. But it's actually Flashy pushing through, taking down Fancy, but he will fall to Supreme. But these pushes from Bot123 working so well. Saint and Max Strafe getting kills on themselves, and it looks like Saint could even take down Tim. He's a little bit more careful, but Icons is the one to take him out, just leaving Supreme, Thompson, and Carbine in hand. 1 vs 3. If Bot123 just huddle up, they know where Bomb is. They know Supreme doesn't have it, and Supreme needs to find an ace to be able to clutch it. And J Money, if he gets a kill, it would be a team ace actually. Let's see how this works out. Great crossfire actually set by Bot123. seems like Saint decided other things, and Saint will fall because of that. J-Money almost gets a frag, somehow Supreme surviving. There we go, J-Money gets it. Team Ace coming in for Bot123. That's going to be the 5th round. Back bows, these gunfights are looking a lot better compared to the games which we've seen earlier today. A lot closer as well. It does seem like Team Endpoint are looking to force into this. Get some carbines. Supreme does get himself a Thompson as well. On the other side, Flashy with the car. 3 Goers. Thompson and MP44 might come to Gemini as well. Max. Ooh, gets a nice headshot onto Sus there. He's looking for more heads. Max, such a player. Too bad his team didn't do that well, actually, but found himself a new home and he's looking very good in it. Getting himself these open kills. But he will fall to the hands of Supreme. Supreme in those openings, Thompson in hand. Reload switches to the M19, 11, but it's actually Fancy takes on Saint down, but Supreme doesn't expect icons with the rotate, making it 3 versus 3 still. All leveled. But that leaves A site clear, and I think Team Endpoint has realized that and they heading towards it. Let's see if they can translate this part. Now they know it's A. No nades though on Bot123, so they need to take this with gun skill alone. And positioning, Fancy actually spots out icons. It's gonna make things a little bit more difficult. Fancy's position's actually pretty good. He can get behind rotating players, but he doesn't expect one in Sniper Nest. Sniper Nest, and he survives. Flashy misses his shot, making it still a 3 versus 3 retake for Bot123. Max, he's gonna struggle. He smokes, and Fancy going on fire, taking down J-Money. Helping himself a little bit more. Got 2K now. He's looking for a 3rd one. Flashy icons goes down, just leaving Flashy left alone. He doesn't give away his car at least. But he does fall to the hands of Tim. Tim gets 2 kills as well as Fancy. And it's 5-3. Back to a fighting battle, just like the nice gaming game, but I would say this game is a little bit more exciting. Endpoint and Bot123. This is rivals here. Ex-teammates versus ex-teammates. Can't get better than that. Made from Fancy. That might actually find Max if he's not too careful. Max almost dies to it, but will survive for the time being. And the smoke giving Fancy some more cover, which Max might not expect him to be on the other side. Not too careful. Might even find an opening, Fancy. Position flashing backed up a bit, and Max actually goes on top against Fancy, winning that duel, getting a nice headshot on him. He's playing so well with the Gua, getting those heads. But it's Saint with these pushes down on getting those kills, but Supreme does get one back at least. Making it 4 versus 3, making Team Endpoint not out of this just yet. And the bomb collected again. Does seem like they want to head towards A site instead. And Supreme's got this opening, but got icons there. Such a great position with the shotgun. He's gonna win that duel. And that's gonna cause Sus and Tim a slight problem. They don't know where they want to go. Sus with the scope. Don't want to lose that really. Does spot one player. He gets spotted as well though. Just waiting for peaks, but at the moment, Bot123 not really giving him any peaks. Good discipline. Max though, with this push, could have done a little bit more, but does fall. Giving a slight opening for Team Endpoint, but 15 seconds left. You don't expect them to do much. They're just going to save these weapons. And Sus, he's got a scope in hand. You don't want to lose that. Especially since your team's economy is so low. And there we have it. 6th round for Bot123, keeping 3 players alive. On the other side, Team Endpoint keeping 2 players alive. Could have gone for it, but they decided to be disciplined and keep the weapons in case they lose it, since there was a good chance that they would. On the other side, Flashy able to pick up a car once more. J-Money with the Gua. Icon sticking with the shotgun. Max Strafe again sticking with that Gua, but we've seen him do so much damage with it. You expect him to do even more. On the other side, you see 4 carbines, only 10 with a Thompson in his back pocket. And Sus with that scope pushy save in the last round. Let's just try to find some tags. At the moment, no one's defending himself to him. Don't want to lose the head. But it does seem like Team Endpoint are going pretty slow towards the A bomb site. Maybe going to get some mid control, but it's actually Flashy taking out the scope of Sus with a car on scope. That's a good job from him. Eliminating that major threat. And even tags up Dackers as well. Can get the frag, but it's actually saying he takes down Fancy. Team Endpoint are quite split at the moment. Two towards. I think Fancy might have spotted the bomb there. He wasn't too sure, but Saint takes down Supreme, and that's the beat. Saint control still. Gunfights happening towards A. And Icons. Area 1 on A site. Spots out a player, and he's going to call that to his team, and you can already see a rotation from Flashy pretty close by, but there's still that guy in triple. Tim, he can cause some damage as well as Dacus. And in fact, Dacus has picked up the scope of Sus. And it looks like they just want to try and save these weapons into the next round. 3 versus 5. Not too good, and Flashy living up to his name. I think I've said it in a previous game. I cast it. He's really Flashy today, but there's only Dacus left. Does have a scope in his back pocket. Footsteps all around him, narrowing down his position. The nade, in fact, making him come out. He does get Icon's head, but Max Strafe will get the kill. But really well played there from Bot123. They're taking the lead quite dominantly. Let's see how they can carry on this. And pay that in chat. Interesting, but at the moment talking about EU and at the moment Team Endpoint's economy not too good. I've got only 3 carbines, 2 grease guns, so it's pretty much a half buy. Smoke on Dackers and a smoke on Fancy. Be interesting to see what they do here. The nade from Saint denying any smoke that Fancy would want to do to create a fake towards B, but I might have sold it. 4 players still towards the B side, only 1 towards A, and that's gone to B. Icons. Icons need to get big here. Kill Tim. He does get Tim. Making it 5 versus 3, and it's a similar story compared to the previous round. At the moment, Bot123 looking more dominant. And looking the better team. They're on the axes. And Icons getting another one with that nade. Taking out Dackers, just leaving Sus and Supreme. Max taking down Sus. Supreme lost. He does have bomb, but 1 versus 5. Too much for him, even great player like him. It does seem like Max is hunting him down, and that shotgun, he's going to deny any chance he has. Max getting himself a 2k as well as Icons. And Max leading the scoreboard 16-6. He's having a great game. Team Endpoint does manage to buy some weaponry, at least. Thompson's and Garan's might be the weaponry they need to get their 4th round on the board, but Bot123 is looking so crisp on their shots and winning all their duels. Team Endpoint are struggling, but Max, that's the kill which they needed, but Icons going big. Games have a double. Saint and J-Money also chiming in, just leaving Dackers left alone in a 1 versus 4. Again, a similar story to the last round. Not much you can do here. Could deny some weaponry. Taking out J-Money, that's 1 step. Could try and take out Icons, but that'll be difficult. Flashy's also there, back him up, and then there's... I mean, Tink is also there to back him up, and Icons is the one to get the kill in the end. That's going to be the 9th round for Bot123. Not acting like bots at all. Being more dominant. You can say, though, the aim is bot-like in the fact that they aim up. Not that I'm saying they cheat, it's just that they got good aim. Let's see how they can do this round. STG on Icons as well as a nade. Flashy and J-Money now have cars. The economy on 1-2-3 so good that they can buy 2 cars, but if they lose this round, they will lose a lot of Icons because 3 of them on 0, which means they only get 1 icon they lose. Pretty much broken. It does seem like it's an AM. Max is getting all this information, pushing through mid. Gets it. An Icon spots out a player. Telltale sign, but it's Supreme who opens things up, taking down Saint with that shotgun. Jamie does chime in one at least, as well as Max, who takes down Fancy, giving them a 4 versus 3 an advantage for Bot123. Blackers takes advantage away. Flashy looking to get it back. Does get it back with a nice shot, but it's short-lived because of Supreme. Close round. Doesn't realize Max is on top. Tim does. Takes him out, just seeing J Money to clutch it out. 1 versus 2. He does have a car in hand. He could save or he could go for it. Both players are split, so if he gets one, the other one can't exactly get back in it. But Sus, no, I mean Supreme playing so good, and he's gonna get the frag. And he's gonna get the car. As well as all those tokens. That's gonna be the 4th round for Team Endpoint. 9-4. And we have seen a previous team who came back at 9-4. 9-4 deficit, which was TV8 against Default Kids. So you can't keep Team Endpoint out of it just yet. And they currently have sort of stable slightly. They are able to get some good weapons, but again, if they just lose one round, that's the thing with Battalion. You lose one round, you don't have economy to back you up with. If you keep losing, you have economy to keep back you up because you get that round. But if you're winning, you don't have that economy. Sus, proving that right, taking down Max, giving them an advantage. Dream unable to do anything with that car just yet. The defense on the B side proving a little bit more difficult, and Saint proving it more difficult, taking out Tim, making it back to a 4 versus 4, and Icons takes down Sus, and Saint slightly stuck here in B-Apps, but J Money helping him slightly, taking out Supreme. Does seem like it's just Dacus and Fancy left, and Saint pushes out, misses the shotgun, does get a tag blow, and Dacus will fall to the hands of Icons, but Icons is short-lived just because of Fancy. But Fancy has a tall order, he needs to find 3 more players, and I don't really see it happening. He has Gua and a Thompson in hand, and he will fall to the hands of Saint. Saint, good round for him, 2k. Icons also 2k for him as well, and Bot123 proving themselves worth the name, or proving that they can be a very, very good team against Endpoint. Dominating them, in fact. Yeah, this next round, it could prove Team Endpoint quite difficult, especially since they're by Team Endpoint really, really bad compared to the likes of Axes, 2 cars, SCG, 2 SCGs, and Go on Icons. And Saint giving them that advantage. What a Saint getting another one. Saint playing so well. This is kind of refreshing to see. Getting 2 kills, giving his team an advantage, and he's looking for more. He's playing so confident right now. And Max, his name's Chris with that card. I need to find that player. We expect one in dark. He does spot him out now. Question is, he's in a tough situation to try and peek him, but he does get Sus in the end. Just leaving Fancy and Supreme left alive. Fancy. Supreme. Short-lived. Fancy just left in market. Well, 1 player, and I don't think Saint knows he's there. Saint just escaping his grasp for the time being. He's looking to knife. And in fact, he does get the knife, but Flashy with a quick trade. That's going to be in the half. 11-4 in favor to Bot123. A really good half from them. Dominating, showing their defense is so strong. But let's see how the attack is compared to the likes of Team Endpoint. They need to have some good strats. They need to have some good smoke executes. This is their pick after all, so you expect them to win it. I'm looking at Team Endpoint. They're not going for much utility. Supreme on getting smoke, which I guess he's going to go toward the B site, smoke off the arch. And the other 4 have Guas. On the other side, you see the same thing. Icons with the smoke, and the other 4 with carbines. It does seem like it's going to be a B plate. Heaven is smoked, and we're going to have a boost here. Supreme boosting up his teammate in arms, which is Sus. And Sus needs to get big kills here. Only tags so far, and J Money will take him out. Dacker's pushed out of the site as well. It's going to be B-site control for them. It's not much that Supreme can do, but he has picked up a Gua, which is going to help his chances of the dead corpse of Sus. It's difficult for them to hit the tags. Flash, he's taking down the Fancy. Gonna help them cause even more 5 versus 3. Daka's trying to find an opening. He does take down Flashy. But gets a second onto J-Money. Taking it back to a 3 versus 3. And Supreme takes down Saint, but it's not for short. Icon's getting himself a double, just leaving Tim in a 1 versus 2. And he's looking to try and get Icons, but Icon's not giving him much chance to kill him. And Bomb is down. 20 seconds left. Tim needs to stop pushing up to the site. Icon's got a lot of tokens there. But Max is the one to win that duel. And that's going to be the first round and a half in favor to Bot123. 12-4, extending their lead. And if you're Team Endpoint, you're going to have to force into this. Not much of a buffer. It's going to be difficult for them to get back in. And you can kind of see Bot123 just run away with it. Especially if they win this round. The economy will be stuck broken for Team Endpoint. Unless they win a round. Even then, if they lose that round afterwards, economy is completely gone. Let's see what they're going to do. Assad's going quite aggressive. Gua to get fragged. J-Money's actually wanting to get the opening with the Grand already. It does seem like Sus is not in a great position. That nade, take him out. Saints also find Supreme. And it's already a 5 versus 2. MP28 and Gua left on Fancy and Tim. And Tim's actually going to get the kill and going to get himself a Grand battle about it. And both players towards A, and they're going to try and stay away from them. There's no point in them facing the jewels. They don't need to. They can take off the weaponry, of course, but it's not a necessity. Get the round wins, get the economy growing. Fancy looking to get himself some frags, but it's going to be difficult. He does get tagged up, but he does tag up Icons as much as he got tagged. Both surviving though, and Bomb will start to go down.
Bomb planted.
Finally for Bot123. And if you have 4 players surviving after this round, it'd be pretty useful, but I'm going to take away these weapons from Endpoint. It does seem like Flashy is looking to hunt down Fancy. Fancy's position known. Does get a nice headshot onto Icons. But there's not much he can do, especially since Flashy's on his tails, just leaving Tim left alone. 1 versus 3, and he wants to save this gun without a doubt. It seemed like he was just spotted there. 100% by Flashy, and it seems like he's above him. I mean, Max Straight's above him, and he's going to get that draw. He's going to get something around an upgrade. Got around and a bar in his pockets. And right now, the economy not looking great. They still can't afford STGs. I guess one player can't afford a MP44 anymore since he bought Smoke on Supreme, Gua on Tim, as well as a Gua on Fancy. The rest are saving. Economy not looking good. While on the other side, the economy's looking pretty good when it can buy what they want and able to deny any pushes on the team. Supreme and shut out from the smoke, and Icon's already pushed out towards the B site. Crowd's position, a knife coming in from Supreme, but Icon's denied him very quickly with the Thompson, and J-Money gets down Sus. Fancy does manage to take down Saint at least, so it's not too much damage done, but still advantage for Bot123. And Max increasing their lead even further. Dakis has now been spotted, so his position is now known, and Tim does manage to take down Max at least. But 3 versus 2, made that 3 versus 1, all left on Dakis. Should be the 14th round, and Bot123 going away with it in this game. Thought it would be a little bit closer. I still favored Bot123 in the end, but right now they're looking so good on a map like Liberation, and it would be interesting to see how they play on Coastal. Dakis just gonna try and save this weapon, but they need to start getting rounds on the board. This is gonna be 14-4. Not dire state than any of the teams which we've seen in previous games, even against TBA versus Default Kids on the round was slightly closer than this. Let's see how they can do it. Dakis at least saved Smoke and a Thompson into 5 tokens. This is the first time which we've seen a pretty decent economy where they can buy what they want. Team Endpoint. Sus getting a car. They're getting an STG as well as Fancy. And Supreme with his MP44 on the other side, though, equal weaponry except for carbines on Max and J Money, but we've seen what they can do, and they've got a lot of utility to back them up so they can do what they want with it. Let's see here, Fancy. Nice movement. But it looks like it's going to be a B hit from Bot123, just testing the waters by the looks of things. Not committed just yet. Just waiting for any pushes or peaks from Team Endpoint, but at the moment Team Endpoint are playing quite disciplined. They don't want to lose this round, they need to get rounds on the board. And I'm playing quite passively, both teams in fact are. Bot123 just expecting pushes, but no pushes coming from Team Endpoint. In fact, they got mid control, Bot123. They can do what they want. They can go towards A, they can go towards B, they can take either side. They got this control. You just need to be careful with this connected player. And Sus does manage to peek out, get a kill, but Saint quickly gets a trade. It's also a nade, and Max Strafe gets one for himself, but Dakis does bring it back one, bring it back two, gives themselves an advantage for Team Endpoint. First time they've had an advantage in this half, and Supreme extending it, just leaving Flashy. Does get bomb and a nade. She throws into the sky, hoping to get a kill, but not certain just yet. And if he wins this, sure, he can get to A site, but Tim gets on top. And that's going to be the 5th round for Team Endpoint after so long. But is it too late? 14-5, a big deficit. In fact, 9 rounds deficit, and they need to get 11 to be able to win Team Endpoint. 10 to get to 15, while Bot123 just need to win 2. They don't even have to force in this. They have force, but they could have ecoed a round or 2 just to get the economy rolling. But that can be said to the they didn't have to force. Let's see what they can do in this force. Only towards the B side. Max actually gets the first kill, taking down Dakis, and in fact, Icon probably could get a kill here if he just picks above the window. Max not going to. Sus is going to take down Icon, so he was in being out. Sus is going to get another one, and Supreme's going to chime in one for himself as well, just leaving Saint and Max left alive, and Saint is alone as well as Max, both on either side of the map, able to help each other, but one of them can get a kill. Max falls, saving Saint. If you're Saint, you don't really want to give them better weaponry than they already have. I try and take off the weapons away from them. Saint unable to do so. Supreme going out on top. And that's going to be the 6th round for Team Endpoint. It does seem like they want to force again, but if you're Bot123, you've got the economy. You don't have to force. You can save. You can eco. You can do a lot of things. You don't have to keep forcing into it, especially when you've got this big deficit or big filter of rounds in your back pocket. You don't need to force into these rounds. You can eco, and some players have eco, but some have bought. I'd like to see a full eco, maybe a sweat kill there, and Sus will be able to get down Flashy. It does seem like they are heading towards B, I mean A, where they will meet 2 to 3 players. Sus looking to rotate round, and Fancy does spot out one player, damages in a bit, but through the smoke takes out J Money. Saint does get one at least, taking down Sus, which is the card gone, as well as the Thompson. Dakis will also fall to the hands of Max. This is coming a little bit chaotic for Team Endpoint. This was quite an eco round for Bot123, and they were able to bring it back. Only one player towards B site, and if they get Supreme, this B site secured. Question is, will they find him in his position next to Archway? That'll be difficult. Supreme able to take down Max. His position now known. Icons with the flank, able to get him out. Saint spoiled out the 2 players on A, and they've got bomb as well, so can't do much. Maybe just save these weaponry, cause some damage, so they don't need to push into this. They can save for next round. Icons does fall to the hands of Fancy, just leaving Saint left alone, and come up onto A site. His position known. Fancy's going to get him, but costly round coming in from Team Endpoint. 3 players falling. pretty much an eco from Bot123. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back into this. Jimmy, Flashy both going for Grands. Max Strafe, in fact, picking up the scope. I've seen him play scope a few times and he's pretty good with it. Let's see if he can get some openings. What I like to see from a scope player, I've said this in the previous games, is try and get those opening kills. Get your team an advantage because scope is what it's there for, and he does so. He gets one. He nearly gets a second. In fact, if he got that second, it would be even more remarkable. But Icons is there to get down Supreme. Only one player left on the B site, which is Dackers. And if he's able to kill Dackers, that nade just short, but Fancy's nade not so short. Saint Oak hits the target, and that's B site secure, and only Tim and Fancy left. And Max has still got this scope holding the flank. It's going to be tough for the retake. 4 versus 2. One player spotted out from Max. The other player, Fancy, position probably still unknown to the likes of the allies, but doesn't mean that they're not aware he could be. Max even holding the angle, and it does seem like a save that's going to be called here from Fancy and Tim, just looking for exits, not really going for the retake. And this should be match point for Bot123 unless something of course happens, which no one expects, but Fantikin, 15th round is guaranteed. Really good round coming in from Bot123. Stop the momentum of Team Endpoint. Team Endpoint were able to save some guns, but still costly for them. Whereas on the other side, only losing one player, Icons, economy looking pretty good. Able to buy the nades they need. They've already got the weaponry really. Max still got that scope, able to get an opening frag, and you want him to see if he can get the opening frag again, see if the player contest you. If you're sus, you're not going to contest, especially since he's got an MP44, but you could see Fancy contesting with his car, try and win that duel, but still going to favour Fancy. I mean, Max Strafe. Fancy. Here's Supreme, able to get the opening kill. Max. I mean, it's Fancy almost getting Max with the car. Nice angle he picked up, but he's unable to hit this shot. And Max, likewise, able to hit his shots. In fact, Fancy able to pick Max off when he's reloading. Great timing from him, giving his team even further advantage. 5 versus 3. This is a tough run which you'd like to see, but 3-2-8, 15-7. Could be 15-8, and Sus making it short. It's 15-8. A little bit of a teabag as well coming in, getting himself a nice double kill. Just seeing Flashy left alone with Garand. Don't see him doing much. He isn't in backlines. They don't expect him to be here. He does manage to take down Fancy. At least that's the car gone. Of course, he can retrieve it back after the round, but he's already done some damage. Enough damage which he could do. He's still alive for the time being. Team Endpoint, no, he can't win this. They're just making sure he can't get to the bomb. They're not really hunting him down. They don't want to risk it. 15-7. You can't really risk things like that. But there's still one more map to be played at least, which will be Coastal. And Flashy playing this so well. 10 seconds left. He's got 17 seconds until the round ends because you have 7 seconds of the time hits 0. At that point, you've got to make sure you don't lose that gun. You don't want to do anything stupid. And that's also the point where the team can try and push onto you because that 7 seconds is when your heart's beating the most or you're not concentrating as much. But at the end of that, 15-8. Sus has a scope in his back pocket. Economy has been broken for Bot123, so you should see maybe a 9th round coming in for Team Endpoint, unless Bot123 has something to say about it, because we have seen these eco rounds go in favor to the eco team. Which it shouldn't be happening, but the nade from Sus is good enough to kill J Money. Which gives them an advantage going into this round. It's going to be tough for Bot123 to get back into this. Let's see what they're going to do here. Heading towards A site. 3 players, 1 player, which is going to be Flashy towards B. Let's see what they're going to do it. And they're going to triple. Icons wins the duel against Tim, but he won't respect the player, which is Fancy just around the corner. He doesn't. Fancy managed to get one. I don't need to find the second just yet, but for the hands of Saint, winning that duel, and if they get that one player on A, which is sus, could open things up. But Dakas takes down Max, making Saint's job a little bit difficult, but Flashy to refrag, making it 2 versus 2, and they could go back towards B site now. B site is cleared, and they need to be fast, and Supreme, I need to get the frag, and that's B site secured for Bot123. Team Endpoint has to do a retake now. Sus with a scope and a Thompson. Supreme, Thompson, and a Gua. It's going to be a difficult retake, but if they play together, they could win some duels, especially since Flashy is going quite aggressive. I mean, Saint goes quite aggressive. He gets one kill, he gets the second, and that's the game over. Bot123 wins the first map. We're going into the second, which is Coastal. So make sure to stay tuned for that, but what a great game Bot123 has displayed for us. But make sure you stay tuned. Also, another reminder is to use